name is Wes Rodriguez.
And I'm Marin.
And this is Sink or Swim with Wes and M. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing all right. How you doing, Marin?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Up to par. Actually went outside yesterday, got some fresh air. Well, I've been getting a little fresh air here and there, but for the most part, I'm doing what's expected of me, and the cabin fever's starting to fade off. So yeah, I'm getting used to it. I got like another 4 weeks where I'm really under this quarantine thing, you know what I mean? So just getting used to it, watching a lot of fucking TV and eating a lot of fucking zingers. Not that I'm promoting zingers. But they're fucking delicious. And they have them on sale right now, so I'm just like fucking bugging.
Awesome.
I'm just bugging out on this fuckers right now, dude.
Well, we're recording again at Marin's place. His little apartment over here in Fontana. And in-house today is his friend Romeo.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah. So I guess we're going to talk about a little bit. I've been riding my bike to work since about like 2 weeks ago. I started doing that. It's paying off.
Are people still asking you what's wrong with your car?
No. Not very many people talk to me anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I got a kick out of telling my mom that, though. I eliminated the fact that I knew as soon as I mentioned the fact, yeah, I've been riding my bike for the last 2 weeks. And before you asked, my car is fine. And she got a big kick out of that. It's like, oh, you know your mother. But something interesting happened to me the other day. It's happened once before in my life, but this scenario threw me. I'm on my way to work, and I'm wearing my bicycle gloves, and you know, I got my work tennis shoes on that are all beat up and ugly looking. I'm wearing my work badge around my neck. I'm at the very last leg of my ride, and I'm about 2 blocks from work, and I'm right near the 10 freeway.
You're riding like what, 26 miles?
It's about 25 miles a day, 12 and a half.
Up and back.
To work.
Okay. At
the intersection of Milliken and the 10 is really heavy traffic for freight. A lot of semis driving through there, and it's like triple wide. It's one of those huge boulevards.
A lot of chances for death to occur.
Well, not really, because it's really slow and there's a train track there. So you got to get by before that happens, because you literally could be waiting like 10 minutes for everything just to clear. Anyways, I have my earbuds in and I'm listening to talk. Over the voice that I'm hearing in my ears, I'm hearing someone yell at me, and I'm looking around like, you know,
and it's not the
do I need to pay attention to what's going on around me? So I look around and I don't see anybody. I'm like, whatever, and I hear a lot of crap while I'm riding, and I usually tune out. But for some reason, this caught my attention, so I did a double take, make sure I'm cool. I'm literally sitting at the crosswalk, just waiting, minding my own business, and I'm leaning off my bike, kinda. I'm still underneath it, or it's still underneath me. The semi is taking extra long, making a left turn from in front of me, and I looked, and that caught my attention. And then I realized the voice was coming from the rig. The driver was leaning outside this window. This big, hulking black dude is leaning out, yelling at me, and I'm like, what? So I pull my earbuds out, like, what the hell's going on? Because traffic's watching him, and the people behind him, are focused on him, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell this dude wants, and he's yelling at me, do you work today? Are you at work? And I'm like, I look down at my badge, and I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, look, it kind of looks like I'm on my way to work. It doesn't look like I'm just riding my bike. I don't have like a biker outfit, that thing's spandex with all the colors and shit. I'm like, well, yeah.
Not your traditional biking garb.
I mean, I don't yell at him, but I'm like, kind of nod my head, like, yeah. And he repeats himself, like, are you working this morning? And I'm like, when the thought fucking ran through my head, like, is this dude propositioning me? Like, is this one of those, like, lot lizard scenarios where the truck driver, the long haul, is
you a whore?
Looking for some fucking, road relief? I'm like, what the fuck?
I got a bike rack in the trunk.
And I'm thinking, I'm on my bike, and I talked about this at work, and they're like, well, they're probably looking for some extra hands to unload the truck. And I'm like, yeah, but Not on a bicycle. You know, standing next to the side of the road with 4 other guys competing for the fucking work. You
Desperate.
know?
Desperate,
like,
man.
Whatever. So I was really confused. But the first thought that ran through my head was after that.
Were you flattered, though?
I was actually flattered. Of course I was flattered. I'm thinking, you know, if I was trolling for a prostitute, if I was trolling for a prostitute, I'd be looking for the most attractive prostitute I could get my hands on. Well, all right.
Unfortunately, they came across Wes.
Maybe that's how he rolls, and I'm a high item in that dude's mind. Like, I'm cool with that. All right. And he pulled over like half a block away. I'm like, I'm going this way, man, and I'm going to work. Like I said to you, yeah, I work today.
You can walk, but don't touch.
That happened once before, but there was no mistaking that this dude wanted me to have sex with him. I was skateboarding, and I was covered in sweat, and back in the day when I used to ride my skateboard around, I used to take the bus, I would tuck my shirt into my belt loop.
Yeah.
And I was a lot thinner than I am now. My body looked a lot tighter.
Right.
And so I was in like what Marin would call it Van Nuys area.
Anywhere out of Fontana is Van Nuys.
So I'm near a bus stop, and I'm all sweaty, and I'm just leaning against a pole, and the dude pulls up right to the curb right in front of me and asks me the same thing. You know, hey, are you working right now? Fucking, I had a fucking Snapple bottle, and I was a young kid back then, and I immediately wanted to just fucking I just reached back like I was gonna crush the bottle.
How dare you proposition me? Got any drugs?
I wasn't so comfortable with myself that I felt flattered at that point. I was highly offended, and I wanted to cause physical harm and damage to that person. But anyway, that's my little story for this week.
That's funny.
Yeah, a lot of people got a kick out of that. But
do you feel the difference in your whole physical aspect of it? You know, do you feel
my cardio is
do you feel healthier? Do you feel better? Like when you go to work, do you feel more pumped? Do you feel, you know?
In the sense of,
or do you like?
I don't feel tired,
right?
But I really don't push myself that hard at work anymore. I just go there and I just try to stay busy.
Do the minimum requirements.
I try to stay off the radar. I'm not doing the minimum, and I'm not doing the maximum.
Right.
I'm right in the middle. I just want to skate by without being noticed. That's my trick. I used to overwork myself, and I'd get so frustrated because my ego was getting involved. Like, why am I not getting, credit for how much I'm busting my ass? I'm covered in sweat. Right. I'm trying to cover the work that these guys are slacking off.
That's narcissism, though.
Well, of course. And then I learned what a program is, and I realized I need to check myself a lot more. Right. So I just calmed down a bit, and I'm like, you know what? You can't affect what other people are going to think, and the more you go out of your way trying to make an impression, the more you're probably going to piss people off. Right. So I just...
Well, and it depends on your career, too, you know, on what you're doing. Like, Romeo, you're a barber, right? Yep. And so when you're there in the shop, is there a physical aspect to it? I mean, is there a stamina to it? I mean, do you know what I mean? Or do at like some point during the day you're just like, fucking, I don't want to fucking be here? Or
well, no, my situation is more like, if you guys ever hung out in a hood, that's basically how I could describe it. I mean, people come in and... Is
it like in the movies?
Like the Barbershop movie?
Yeah, like the movie?
Yeah.
The movie.
Like the movie Barbershop?
Okay.
Yeah, it's similar to that. I mean, you know, you go hang out with the boys at the shop. That's what it is. It's like the little hood. And then people come in, you know, like when you're at a hood. You know, people walking by, watching you on the block. Hey, how's it going? Blah, blah. They come, they say hi.
Describe it's almost like a men's club.
Yeah.
Correct?
Well, nah, because you don't have to be special to get in. You just walk in off the street.
You mean you don't need a vagina?
No, it's more
the vaginas are welcome.
Yeah, of course they are.
The point I'm trying to make is a barbershop is a bunch of regulars coming there.
Yep.
And most of the time, women are going to be in there. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it's similar to a men's club.
They get to bullshit. They get to kind of hang loose and like be in a man cave, for instance.
Well, let's reel it back a little bit. Let's back up 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
Let's back up 5 years. how did you get into the whole barber industry? I mean, what drove you to do that?
No, I was basically a salesman, and I was selling $1,000 moves and things of that nature. I've always been a salesman. And
$1,000 what?
Like $1,000 moves. Like basically, I was moving people. It was called, the company was called Grable, and I'd be like at, you know, the richest parts out there in like San Diego. I'd go in, I'd give these people like an estimate on all their stuff to move it from like here to Texas to Utah to Idaho, whatever. So you know, like a move for them would be like $40,000-$50,000.
Okay.
Which to me, just get rid of this shit and you buy it wherever you're moving to, you know. But these people were weird about their
stuff.
stuff.
You got a photo album? Yeah, take it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you need.
Have a fucking yard sale.
40,000-50,000. Come on, all this shit's not even worth 40,000-50,000. Right. But anyways, that's what I would do. And then the economy took a dump, and then my aunt came over, and I was looking for a job for like 3 months, and I wasn't able to find one. And she said, why don't you get into cutting hair? So I was like, all right, I'll go try it out. So for 1 year, I stood inside some place trying to learn how to cut hair or whatever. I was going to actually be a stylist. So like for women's haircuts and all that.
Oh, okay.
And then I ended up working at a barber shop. And then ever since then, I've just been doing barber work for like the last 4 years. It's been very, very well for me though. As bad as the economy is, and as bad as, you know, we are now.
People are vain.
2 years, exactly.
Well, everybody needs a haircut.
Everyone needs a haircut. And if you know what you're doing, I mean, we're charging like $15 to $20 a haircut where I work at. And
there's a small percentage of people that will do it themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the competition for business today.
Unless you know a good barber.
I'm gonna do it myself.
But see how easy it is. How easy is it right now for you just to take a one clip and bald your head?
That's what I do.
Yeah,
but I'm not like everybody else, right? Well, $50 invested like 7 years ago. I haven't spent any money since.
There you go. So that's the idea behind our economy right now. But let's say you do like your hair and you wanted a certain style and stuff like that, then you come to me. And the difference between me and another barber is that I know how to cut hair. So like a lot of times they'll go with me once and then they'll go to another shop and then they'll come back and I'll have to fix their hair. That's the difference between me and another barber.
Right.
So, you know, I'm basically like an artist with hair.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My story, I like the version that I give because you had told me about about your aunt doing it, but 2000.
Oh, that's right.
2007, he calls me and he says, "Hey, man, I'm gonna go out here to get my taxes done. You want to go with me? You want to go with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, fucking nine, whatever. Let's go." So we go out here to Pomona to a longtime friend of his who's doing taxes and stuff, right? And there's like a 6-hour wait to go in, right? So he says, "You know what? Let's go ahead and check the city out." And I says, "All right, let's go." So we start walking around. You know, we walk across the street, and it's the Pomona Mall or some shit, right? Mm. And we're in the Pomona Mall walking around. He sees this chick, right? So we're just like following behind her, checking her out and shit, right? So then
stalking.
Yeah, yeah. So then he says,
"I get it."
He goes, "Fuck it, I'm going for it, man." So I go, "All right." So we walk up to her.
Permission to buzz the tower.
Yeah. So we start. We were actually it's a mall, but it's one half is the mall, and then the other half was, we later learned, that had been converted into a school, a teaching building or whatnot. You know, different classes and stuff. So we're walking through, and he walks up there and he says, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Romeo," and he throws his little game, right? And turns out to become a beautician or a cosmetologist or some shit, right? So he says, "You know what? Since I'm here, man, let me go check this out." So it's funny how things work.
As you do when in that situation with a woman.
Right. So and here we are, like 4.5 years later, and he's got his license. He's got, and I used to go with.
So the moral of the story is follow your penis.
Yeah, follow your penis.
Always.
But that was. It is funny because I look back on that now, and it's just that little. Who knows if you would ever been where you are now? You know what I mean? It was just that little spur of the moment fluke.
Waiting for my taxes
thing that happened. So he goes in there, he gets the information. And then, like 2 weeks later, we're just catching up with each other because we catch each other maybe once a week, every couple of weeks. We just kind of touch base with each other, because we used to hang out like all the time. And then we had even said, you know what? There's going to come a time, man, where we're like, right now we're both just starting our lives off. I said, there's going to come a time where we're going to barely see each other. You know what I mean? Like just barely hang out with each other. You know what I mean? And catch each other here and there. And I said, but I guess there's a good and bad to that. You know what I mean? There's a good thing because we're growing up, you know what I mean? We're getting better at life, you know? Sure enough, like 2 weeks later, he's like, hey, man, I got in. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I had totally forgot what the fuck scenario had even taken place, you know? He says, I got into that school, man. And I go, the school? He goes, yeah, for the haircutting. I said, no shit. He goes, yeah. So he's telling me his schedule and stuff, so we talk about it and stuff, you know. Lo and behold, man, like what, 9 months later? 9 months later, you get your license.
Yep,
and,
graduated.
You want to talk about your graduation?
I graduate, okay? The next day I'm supposed to go in and put in 8 hours, and then that's it, completion. I get my certificate, then I get to go do this, where I have to take this test for licensing purposes. So I finish and I go out and I party. I'm like, wow, this is cool. So I get drunk. I come over here to Marin's, and Marin's tells me, don't go home, just stay here, dude. Don't worry about it. Just wake up in the morning and then leave the class. Nah, Marin, I got it under control. No, it's okay, Marin. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to sleep on my bed. All right, cool, Romeo. Hey, see you tomorrow. All right, cool. I leave. Guess who's behind me? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Man, I got popped for a DUI. And the blood alcohol content was 0.28. So you could just imagine how good I was feeling. And
but that wasn't your first DUI, though.
No.
Oh, shit.
I'm well versed in the DUI situations. So the night before, they booked me, and then they released me in the morning. And at that time, I was dating some female from the school. I call her from jail. I have the numbers on my hand, and I get to work, to school, and I put in my 8 hours, and they give me the certificate of completion. And I walk away with numbers on my hand. It was just, I don't know. But that's the kind of person I am, man. If I'm gonna start something, I have to finish it no matter what. Right. So I ended up finishing that whole situation, and then I started cutting hair, and
well, then no, wait a minute. There's more to that story, man. He finishes the schooling, and then there's another guy there who was graduating too, and so we all go to Rocky's Pizzeria.
Oh man!
And they're drinking, and I'm hanging out, and they're eating pizzas and stuff, right? And then said lady friend shows up, and he's like, and this is one of the many times that I did this. He says, hey, Marin, can you take my car for me? And then when I call you, just come pick me up. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, you know. So he stays there with the girl. I go home, and then like at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, he calls me. He says, hey, Marin, I'm over here at Indian Hill. He names the motel where he's at, or hotel, whatever the fuck it was. And he says, can you come pick me up? And I go, yeah, okay. So I go out there and pick him up. So I knock on the door. He tells me like 402 or some shit, man, right? So then he opens the fucking door, and he's got a fucking pair of panties on his fucking head. And she's under the covers, and she's got the blanket pulled up to her, you know, like that. And he's like, hey, what's up, Marin? Hey, you want to fuck her? And I'm like, nah, I'm cool, dude, I'm cool. You sure, man? Yeah. All right, hey, I think watch you. And he takes the panties off his head. He tosses them towards, come on, let's go. So that was one of the many adventures that I had. Then there was the Valentine Massacre.
Oh man.
Of 2008. Where I got pulled over for that too. That's when you left your car down here down the street with the windows open.
Yeah.
With space boots.
Space boots. By the way, where are you, space boots? Ignition.
Well, yeah, there was. Well, we met in a 12-step program.
Yep.
In 2001. We both had our ups and downs.
Hey.
Yeah, but I think you're. I don't want to say. I think you've had a more. I don't know how to put it. Explicit love affair with the whole thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because you admittedly say that you've had your troubles with it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like, where do you stand now on it? Like, because we were talking earlier about this.
Well, it's a constant battle. If anybody ever has experienced anything close to alcoholism, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's a constant battle with the mind. I have a love romance with it, you know? It's been there for me. It's my friend. There's been a couple times where I wanted to do damage to myself, and it's the only thing that kept me sane. So as crazy as that sounds, that's my story with the battle with alcohol. I'm still battling it till today, you know? And I don't know if the battle will go on till I die, but I try to stay functioning is what it is. And there's such thing as a functioning alcoholic. And
For sure.
you know, if you guys out there know a functioning alcoholic, I mean, they keep the money on the food on the table. They keep you fed, clothed, and you know their situation is just their romance with the alcohol. You know. So.
And I've met a few guys in the rooms like that. They went like 25, 27 years, man.
Yeah.
And they were tool and die makers. One was for the Los Angeles Times back in the days.
That's right. Huh?
He worked on the press.
And he would drink on the job. I remember he was telling me,
20-some fucking years, man, and just be
kept
drunk
food on the table
all fucking day. And functioning alcohol, just, you know what I mean? No one had a clue. I was like, wow. And you have a somewhat success financially. I mean, you're not hurting or nothing. You know what I mean? So you know, there's that whole.
See, people think that an alcoholic is a person that's on the side of the road, you know, begging for change and stuff like that.
Right.
And if you look at the wide variety of alcoholics, they're out there. They're your physicians. They're your cops. They're your firemen. Things of that nature.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so
I don't know. I think if you read the big book and you go to the rooms, that's the old school mentality of what an alcoholic is.
Right.
I think as civilization modernizes more and more,
For sure.
I think more people are aware. Like, kids know their parents are alcoholic.
Right.
You know, you know that dad does this because he drinks too much.
Yeah.
And that's becoming more, unfortunately, accepted. One of the biggest problems with society today is, and a lot of children are born out of that situation, that they're drinking, they're not thinking, and so dad's not gonna fucking wear a raincoat, and you know, out comes a fucking kid into a fucked up situation.
Right.
well, it also is unfortunate that now they've sped up the game, so the kids are coming into Alcoholics Anonymous a lot earlier.
Fuck yeah.
You know, now they're doing Epsom salt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, bath salt. So the bath
Epsom salt.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just. These kids nowadays are getting into the rooms faster.
And I was talking about that the other day with my nephew, dropping what's that fucking ecstasy, smoking this fucking chemically enhanced fucking marijuana.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, check this shit out. This is fucking train wreck, or this is all these crazy fucking names, right? I'm like, dude, whatever happened? I said, what's the simplest fucking weed? Like, what's the simplest? And he goes, simple. There's nothing simple. It's just, you know. And I said, like, what's like, okay, like when it comes to like the money wise, and he goes, well, you probably get Kush, and for $70 they'll give you a fucking license, and you can walk. I can walk right here. I can walk within a 3-mile radius, and I can name 4 fucking shops. And a cop stops me. He says, "Oh, you have marijuana on?" Yeah, but look, I have a fucking license to smoke it. And yet in L.A., was it last week? They fucking closed. They closed down a bunch of fucking shops. So you know, there's a give and take to that whole thing. But again, the extremes that I have come from, like when I was growing up, I think I was in my 20s maybe, when X Games first hit, somewhere in there, I think somewhere around there. Up until this point, and you see the whole X Games factor, you know what I mean? And we're just, the further we get into life, man, the crazier these motherfuckers get, man. And there's always going to be someone out there who's going to try to top what you do. I never thought I'd see somebody pull off a double backflip on a fucking motorcycle. 2 fucking backflips on a fucking motorcycle? What's next? Someone's going to find it. Someone's going to take that shit to the next fucking level.
Someone's going to go and eat somebody's face off fucking
in Miami. Yeah. But, you know, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, there's such an... Things have been taken... People try to push things to the fucking limit, and there's a goodness behind that. You know what I mean? Because you want to push yourself.
Civilization modernizes, and it doesn't stop
we
with
adapt.
drugs and alcohol.
We adapt. Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
But
we adapt.
What's amazing to you and me, but not so amazing to the generation below us, is the tolerance doesn't modernize. You know, the brain chemistry is the same, you know, as it was in the 60s and the 70s. But the potency just keeps getting higher and higher.
Yeah, and fuck, man. It's like I said, you know what? He'll get the pot, you know, and I'll just smell the and I go, fuck, I can only imagine what this shit would do to my fucking brain if that was one of my I can't think of the fucking name. That's what I do whenever I was coming down off a dope and I didn't have
sober
any
up.
I'd fucking I'd smoke pot to sober up. But and again, if my son saw me in that state, I think it would be it would put him in such a spiral, you know? I don't think I could handle that. That's my fear too, because he's going this year he's going to be 13.
Wow.
Fuck this. Romeo was there when he was just
a baby.
Fuck, man.
Knee high to a grasshopper.
Yeah. He's literally watched him grow. He's literally from the time he was fucking 1 year old up until now. That's one of my biggest fears, is that he's already in junior high now. This is his second year in junior high. He's going into 7th grade. I was a good kid until I was 13 too. And then the fucking wheels just fell off the bus. And I just fucking went balls out in like the totally opposite direction. So he has a good head on his shoulders, but I still have those fears, you know? I still have those fears that he's gonna fucking, you know, go out there and just do something stupid, you know?
Well, he's going to do that.
Well, yeah, but I'm just hoping that it's not... I hope I've taught him well enough, which I think I have, to where he's not going to be influenced by... It's
better to have a frame of reference in your mind,
yeah,
than to just go out and experiment and try to find, you know...
Well, you heard him the other day when I'm going to call them the lost tapes. The lost tapes of episode 14.
Yeah.
Are you tweaking?
He was funny.
He was on
the ball, man.
He was on when we were doing these little improv games, man. Oh my god, dude, he was on it. He was on it, dude. He was on it. He was good, man. Getting back to Romeo's, right now you're working where?
All right, the place that I'm working at is called The Spot. It's off of Foothill and Citrus.
That's a shameless
barber shop. Yeah, I know. Had to do it. So come see me if you need a good haircut, man. I get down with it. You
don't have to give me specific numbers, but you do okay.
Yeah.
You do okay. You make a decent living at what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there's I can only imagine, because I've done not to say it's the same thing, but I've worked with my hands for most of my life. I don't know if you're breaking a sweat or not, but the whole hand aspects, do you feel that in your hands? Do you feel every now and then do you feel the carpal tunnel, or do you just
not yet? I'm still young in the game, but you know, it is a machine. And it is vibrating in your hand the whole time. So, and that's the only way you're going to be able to cut. It's not like technology ain't to where, you know, you can just press a button and get a haircut.
You're right.
So, yeah.
Like the sucking cut?
Yeah. The what?
The sucking cut? You haven't seen that?
Nuh-uh. Oh, the Floby.
The Floby, yeah.
The Floby, yeah.
No,
the
dude,
Floby.
it's from fucking Wayne's World.
80s.
The sucking cut. Where they showed it fucking up Gar's hair.
Oh, my hair. Turning my hair.
That's the Floby.
Yeah.
You attach it to the damn vacuum and
that's funny.
But no, yeah, so that aspect is, you know, I'm not looking forward to it, but see, you got to be smart in the game, man. I have a little bit of money put away, and in due time I'll probably own my own, and then I'll stop cutting. You know?
Well,
when I said sucking cut, you should have seen the look on Romeo's face. Hey, it's not that kind of place, man.
Yeah. No, but you have a good head on your shoulders. You know what I mean? And I know that because I've known you for many years, and we've both seen each other go through good times and through bad times. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I've seen it. You know what I mean? So that's what. And we were talking about that this morning. You know what I mean? About the whole physical aspect and the whole how the alcohol takes hold of your physical being. You know, and we were talking about that this morning about how
age.
Yeah,
age and the food that America is giving us, and of course the alcohol will take a toll on your body, especially when you get up there in years. It's unfortunate. I feel bad for the generation right below us. They're not going to live to be 80, touching 90. No way. The new generation is going to live to be 50. 50, they're going to be tapping out because of all the damn preservatives and everything. You know, like now they have these drinks where you read the back label, and you know how it's supposed to say 160 grams of whatever? It just has a damn, like a fucking crucifix right there on the total amount, you know? So you know that there's something wrong when it has a crucifix. You know, if you read the back of the can of a Monster, everyone, if you guys can, look at the back can of a Monster. It's just a crucifix on all one side. So, I don't know, man. They're doing something out there. And these kids are taking those down like 2-3 a day.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, work on the pancreas and all that good stuff. So.
Well, too, what's that, Four Locos?
Oh, man.
Is that still out? I heard they banned it for a while, no?
Yeah,
and then they brought
it back with more sugar.
But this shit's like, it's like a Red Bull with alcohol.
Yep.
You know? And two, when you go to the clubs, they're drinking like Red Bull with vodka or Red Bull with some other, you know what I mean, with other. But it's all about they want to go longer and faster. And we talked about this about maybe 4 or 5 shows back the next, what was it? The next day drug or some shit, where like you go in for literally a drip.
Oh yeah.
You go to a clinic, you party all fucking night, right? You go all fucking night. The next morning you go into a clinic, and they rehydrate you
with B12. Huh?
Yeah,
Shots?
with B12, vitamin, magnesium, whatever it is you need. Like 3.5 hours, and you're ready to go, and you're done. So people are seeing, and this is strictly my opinion. I could be totally fucking wrong. I could be out of touch with reality, but this is my opinion, and my opinion only. People see that, or at least the people who can afford it. There's gonna be 1 or 2 times where people are gonna die in that instance, man. I push my shit to the limit, man. You know, and I'm sure both of you did the same thing. We push ourselves, man. We're fucking adrenaline fucking junkies, and we want to see how far, how fast, and how much we can do. And
my argument to that is, if you have built up a career where you can go to a clinic to get all your vitamins and everything,
Right.
you probably have your shit together.
Yeah, you wouldn't be needing it all the time.
And on the other side of the spectrum is, if you're a super rich, like dope fiend, you know, that needs to go to rehab, your tolerance is so high.
Lindsay Lohan rich.
You're not going to worry about the morning after because you got your fucking drugs and your tolerance is that high.
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear about the stories of fucking like dope fiend celebrities hitting rehab, their tolerance is like a rhino, man.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a good point. That was what I was going to say. My cure to it all is the next morning just drink another beer. I ain't going to go inject myself with a doctor. I'm cool. You know?
Hair of the dog. You know what they say? And that's legendary when they say, well, the hair of the dog. I mean, what the fuck is that? Just drink another another fucking beer, man.
Right.
You know?
Get back to normal.
Okay.
Right.
Or drink one that's really nasty to remind you. My kiss of death always was tequila. That was my
tequila.
That was my drink of valiente. You know, you put that shit in my system, and I was like I said, I was just fucking balls out. You know, blackout. And the next day,
something with tequila.
The next day, I found out I tried to stick my dick in a pumpkin. You know, I mean, shit just off the wall. You know what I mean?
I do that sober.
Just, you know, it's really scary. I look back on the shit that I did and the shit that I don't even remember doing. Like, people would tell me, or they would have like photos.
Oh yeah, you know you're reaching the peak of your debauchery when people are trying to capture evidence to prove it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're tired of you saying you're full of shit.
Yeah, man. I didn't do that. Dude, you still have mustard on your dick? What?
Oh,
yeah, dude. I do have mustard on my dick. What happened
That'd be awesome
there,
if
man?
you could get some of that footage.
My point being is, how far do you get, you know, before you realize, okay, this is it? It was unfortunate for me that I had to literally lose organs for it to come to light, you know? And again, we talked about this morning, about our lifestyle. You know, Romeo, you had said, well, yeah, my lifestyle is right now, it's fucking chaotic, you know? It was funny because it took me back to when I first got sober.
I think when it comes to sobriety, everybody's got their own bottom, so to speak.
Right.
There's high bottoms and low bottoms. I think that if you do get help and you do find out what a program is, it really fucks up the time that when you go back, because now that you know what the problem is and you know how to get to the inside those rooms and learning what the program is, when you go back out there, you now have a frame of reference, and it's ruining your ignorance.
That's why you stay more fucked up.
Right. So
I'm not only going to drown my sorrows, I'm going to drown the knowledge that I can fix those sorrows
and drown everybody out who's trying to tell me better.
For sure.
Let's move on, Marin. Romeo, you got any funny stories of what goes on in the barbershop, maybe after the doors close?
Well, funny stories? They're funny to the barbershop. It's not really funny in the outside world, you know?
About interesting characters that walk
Yeah,
in?
it's a barbershop, so you get a feel of a lot of the people that come in and out of the rooms. Sometimes you get certain scenarios that are pretty interesting. Like, just recently I had a lady come in. And, you know, sometimes you're working with the public, so the public can be pretty nasty.
Dickish.
Yeah. Nasty, a little word I say. You know, the lady comes in, and I'm starting to cut this kid's hair, and she's just standing there with her arms crossed, and she's staring at me, and I'm cutting the hair, and she comes over, and she says, "That's not what I wanted." And it's so hilarious because I said, "You asked me for a taper, correct?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, well, this is a taper. She's like, well, that's not how I want it. I'm like, okay, well, let me finish cutting his hair because I can't put the hair back. You know, like, that's a smart ass comment. So she turns around and just gets more infuriated. And so I finished the haircut, and then she comes back, and you know, in the haircut, you know, when your hair's long, we tend to not pull it, but you know, grab a section and then cut it with the scissors. Well, I'm grabbing sections of this kid's hair, you know, to cut it like, you know, like a normal barber does. And then she comes and she's all, get off the chair. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not done. She's like, no, get off the chair. I don't like the way you talk to me, and I don't like the way you're pulling my son's hair. And I looked at the other barber like, dude, this is how we cut hair. I'm not pulling your son's hair. This is how you get it cut. So he gets off, and then, you know, there's scenarios like that where they get irate. I mean, she looked like she was gonna blow. Like her face was red, veins were popping out of her skull. Did she pay though? No, and that's the funny part about it.
What you do is you offer her a free cut and then make sure that she never comes back.
Exactly. So there's scenarios like that. I've had a couple times where I grew up in the streets, so I have that mentality in me. So sometimes there's some people that come in there and they have the same mentality. And there's been a couple times where I told a couple clients, hey man, why don't we just go step outside and handle this the right way? And fortunately, no one has stepped outside. But you know, that's how irate a client can get. And it's, you know, it's basically working with the public. If you're having a bad day, you come in and you're gonna take it out on anybody, you know. And unfortunately for them, they don't know that I'm self-employed. So, you know, it's not like I have a boss or that they can go to that I can get in trouble.
Or freelance contract.
You know, yeah. Right. So it's like more like you're dealing with me.
You walk into a barbershop and you're in a bad mood. Well, you could check your attitude and get over it, and tomorrow will be a better day.
Especially when it has to do with your looks.
If you upset the barber, he's gonna make sure that you have a bad day for like the next 6 weeks.
Right? Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And you know, there's characters that come in and out of that shop that, you know, they're funny. Like I got this buff guy that comes in and he's just hilarious, dude. That's all he talks about. His conversation is how much more steroids he's gonna put into his body.
Wow.
And I mean, this guy's beyond big. So, you know, you get the
can't wipe his own ass.
The whole
big?
Yeah, that big, dude. And you know, like I got that guy. I got, you know, the guy that just can't seem to get a woman. You know, the guy that just comes in and
no matter how good you cut his hair,
dude, there's nothing I could do to his face.
That's where that's funny, and that's that's you do play the role of the the barroom's therapist
for sure. Yeah,
that's why it's called bar shop.
Wow.
So yeah, and then, you know, in our particular barbershop, we run it like an old school barbershop. So you can bring in your beer, drink yourself a drink right there, get yourself a haircut. And I'm sorry, no offense to anybody, but you are gonna hear cuss words in the barbershop, and you are gonna see ladies, you know, in the magazines and things of that nature. You know, so it is an official barbershop. The ladies or men that don't want their kids to hear or see things that, you know, are normal in a barbershop, do not bring them by, because we are an official barbershop and there is beer drinking there. So that's another aspect to the whole barber. And just for a lot of you that don't know, the barbershop is actually one of the places where you can serve alcohol, not have a problem. Reason being is because it's from the old laws of America. America has the laws we have now, and then they have the old solid laws. And since barbershops have been around, that's one of the laws that they never took away.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So you can have it on tap, and you can serve it to them. The only thing you can't do is sell it to them. So that's just little food for thought. And another interesting fact about being a barber or doing the whole barber thing is that the barber back in the days used to be the actual doctor, therapist, and all that.
Yeah. That's why they did the red and blue, right? The red was for blood, and the blue was for cutting hair. I've seen that in a history book somewhere, I think, or something like that.
And what it was is basically, it was called bloodletting. So they would, the razor that they used, they would cut you and let out all the bad, evil spirits out of your body. And that's why that's what the red stands for in the barber pole, for bloodletting. Yeah. So they, you know, barbershops have been around for a while, and you know they're a history. They're the history of America too. They're part of a history of America, and so you know it's probably one of the best occupations if you don't want a boss, if you don't want to clock in. Matter of fact, it's late. I need to be at work. But yeah, I mean that's how I run my business. It's my I'm self-employed or self-contracted out. So that's the beauty of what I do. You know, I could go in whenever I want. I could take days off whenever I want. You know, I don't have a boss. The only thing I can't do is get too belligerent and start cussing out customers, because then, you know, of course, that's my job.
You're right.
But yeah.
Well, this is the third shop you've been in, right?
Yeah.
The third shop?
Yeah.
I remember
the first one was like the one I have now. And then I went to another one, which was more of like a family-oriented barbershop. I didn't stay there that long. Then I went to another shop where it was similar to the one I have now. And then I went to another shop after that. You know, they're just different barbershops that you go into that you get a feel for, that, you know, until you find the right one, it's like a marriage, you know, until you find the right chick, then you're going to be able to settle down.
Well, I visited you. I visited you in like, I think four of those places. And we talked about that afterwards. I said, nah, I don't think this isn't really your environment. Like, but I've been to this shop here. It seems relaxed. It seems real. It seems casual. It's in a good part of town, so I know your clientele is good there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
Citrus
funny
and Foothill.
because I walk in there, and these guys have these motherfuckers have like snap-on rollaways, you know, like for tools. But they have their barber shit in it, and I'm like, holy! Now these are some serious fucking barbers. Yeah. You would think all the motherfucker needs is scissors and clippers, right? Fuck, these motherfuckers, they're just, you know, you can only imagine what little tricks and doodads they use, you know, to get you that perfect right cut, you know.
Exactly. So
it was just it looks really it looks like the people there. For me, you don't stick a fucking snap-on fucking roll away in your corner if you're planning on just be there for a couple, you know what I mean, for a little while, or you're there for the long haul. You're gonna set your shit up, you know what I mean. So it's really, and everybody has their own little pictures here and their little section, you know what I mean. So you see the personalities
of each barber,
you know?
yeah.
And there's like what 10 you said 10
barbers right now, yeah.
There's like 10 barbers there. And the funny thing is you're telling me that the owner of the shop isn't a barber.
Yeah.
He's not a barber. He just rents out the spaces.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny, because you would think that you know, because that's
at least know a little bit,
because that's your end result is you want to own your own barber shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would think that's every barber's their end dream. Yeah. And so when you told me that, the guy don't even he just rents spaces out. Like, that's an entrepreneur of just it's kind of weird, you know. Mm-hmm. But anyway, moving on.
We're gonna wrap it up and let Marin take Romeo to work. And then we'll probably finish the show off just you and I.
Okay.
All right.
We'll do that.
Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it. And remember, Citrus and Foothill, the spot.
plug,
come through.
Plug away.
I'm a media whore.
Well, we're going to thank Romeo for sitting down and chatting with us and send him on his way. He's going to get back to work right now. Let's pause for station identification. You are listening to Sink or Swim with Wes and M. Okay, and we're back. How was your trip, Marin?
Drivable? I just started
a drivable trip.
A drivable trip. I just
like there were roads and everything.
Yeah. Well, no, because I just started driving. Like yesterday was the first time I actually, or the day before. No, yesterday I think was the first day I actually got out and I drove my truck. So and it's a stick. So the you know, the clutch and everything. So it's you know, but I'm getting used to it. I think I actually walked yesterday a little bit, and I woke up this morning and I felt like I'd done like 1,000 sit-ups, because my natural instinct, dude, is to just go. You know, I just want to go.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. This is one of those times where I literally have to restrict myself to what I'm doing, you know, and not go with what I feel. But hopefully at the end of 6 weeks I'll be back to my A game, you know?
You'll be all right. You're on your way.
'Cause I'm a survivor.
Well, I've come up with a few little game ideas, and Marin has two, so we'll probably be working them into the show. One idea I came up with called Say My Name. Say My Name. Marin and I will launch a few facts up into the air, and whoever is in the room can throw out guesses on who they think the person is. It will be just Marin and I today, since
our guest has left to go to work.
Our guest is no longer here. It'll be just Marin and I playing against each other, so we'll see if this works. If it doesn't, we're going to trash it, and nobody will even hear this discussion that we're having.
Well, that's a load off of my mind.
Fantastic. So, do you want to go first, Marin, or shall I?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go first. How do you want to do this? We each read one, or do we?
Yeah, let's go. You, me, you.
Okay, this might be a dead giveaway, but I don't think so. My mystery, what was it, guest, or what would we call it? Mystery.
Just say I, like you are the person.
Okay. All right. My birth name was Farrick Osara.
Malcolm X.
No. I was born September 5th, 1946.
Louis Farrakhan.
In Stone Town, Zanzibar, London, England.
Jack the Ripper.
This might be the giveaway. I died November 24th, 1991 at the age of 45, Kingston, London, England, United Kingdom. November 24th, 1991, my death. My occupation was a musician, a singer, a songwriter, and a record producer.
Rodney James Dio.
No.
Ozzy Osbourne.
No. Come on, that's obvious, man. I did vocals, I played piano, keyboards, and guitar.
Eric Clapton.
After I give this one to you, you're gonna fucking know it off the back. I know it already. This is a giveaway. One of my most famous songs was "We Are the Champions."
Freddie Mercury.
There you go. I had to put other facts out there besides, because if I put the obvious ones out there, I mean, he's so big, you know. It's just obvious, you know. It's like I said, the minute I said that, he's like, fucking, yeah, it's so simple. So I had to, and like everything I read about him, you know, it's like fucking, the minute I say that, he's gonna know it, you know what I mean? So I had to try and keep it as simple as possible, you know, which is the object of the game.
I would have gone with, I have facial hair that could be likened to such famous people as Tom Selleck. Ned Flanders.
I died of AIDS one day after announcing I had AIDS. That's some heavy shit, dude.
I would have said John Holmes or something.
Yeah, but yeah, for him as a musician, really.
That's true.
I have a 14-inch penis, but it's not mine.
Yeah. Okay.
The other things I probably would have given it to was well, it says right here, Associated Acts, Montreal, Cabell, and then Queen, which he's most famous for. But everybody knows him as Queen. And a little fun fact: he would wear boxing shoes on stage because he pranced around so much, and the boxing shoes he wore, they're like high tops. They supported his ankles a lot better. So that was just a little fun fact. Okay.
All right. I am most famous for producing and acting in a show involving Phil Hartman, Lawrence Fishburne. My producers assisting me were Rob Zombie and Dweezil Zappa. Musical credits to my show go to artists such as George Clinton and Danny Elfman.
Wow, that's a lot to process. Phil Hartman. The only show I would think of that's David Hartman would be David Spade. Maybe David Spade News Radio. Fishburne. So that's the guy from The Matrix, right?
That's correct.
The guy from The Matrix. Oh my God. Rob Zombie. Wow. Yeah, I need more information than that. Are you a musician or an actor? Or both? Double threat.
I don't know. How should we do it? Should we go yes or no answers?
Well, we're just basically you're giving me information and I'm asking as well as asking you questions. I'm not like I can, if I ask you questions, it's either yes or no.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you give me the information, then I
ask me a yes or no question.
Yeah. Are you an actor?
Yes.
Really? Are you a musician as well?
No.
Okay, so you're an actor. Was this sitcom in the 90s?
Probably late 80s, early 90s.
Late 80s, early 90s. Oh my God. You said Phil Hartman, so that has to do. Maybe somebody was Saturday Night Live. Chevy Chase? Wow. Okay, give me some more information, man.
Okay. Benicio del Toro.
Oh wow.
Had his film debut in one of my movies.
Benicio del Toro has... Wait a minute.
Benicio del Toro, his first film, where he played Duke, the dog-faced boy.
Wow, that's heavy. I don't... Fuck, dude. So this guy produced that movie then? Or he was in the movie?
Probably a strong on both accounts.
Phil Hartman, Bill Murray? That just brings me down when I hear that shit.
Doesn't it?
It's so discouraging. Are you trying to break me?
I was also involved in the improv comedy group, The Groundlings, where I met Phil Hartman for the first time.
Jim Belushi? Wow, there could be a whole string of fuckers, dude. Steve Martin. And now I'm just naming out fucking Saturday Night Live characters, huh?
You are, but
did you?
I never mentioned Saturday Night Live.
Okay, I know. That's my next question. Were you a member of the Saturday Night Live crew? No. Okay, so that throws that out. Did you ever appear? Well, that's too vague too, huh? Did you ever appear on Saturday Night Live? Really? Well, fucking that don't help me any. That don't help me none. I don't know if I fucking asked that shit.
Let's limit the questions to benefiting you towards getting this answer.
What the hell does that mean?
Don't ask me questions that aren't going to help you find the answer.
Oh, okay. Have you done any movies in the last year? Have you been in any movies in the last year? The year of 2011 and 12?
That I don't know. Probably no in the last year. Probably.
Your forte is comedy?
I had a feature in Batman Returns.
Jim Carrey? Batman Returns. That's.
And I did a voice in The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, I'm stumped. That's just. And watch, when you tell me, dude, I'm gonna be so pissed off.
Oh, for sure.
I'm gonna be so fucking pissed off, dude, because it's gonna be something that's just so.
All right,
fucking
let's whittle it down.
Okay, now steer me towards the answer.
I played a character in the movie Pushing Daisies. Blow.
Huh?
Blow.
Johnny Depp? Wait a minute. Okay, Blow.
And Mystery Men.
Pee Wee Herman?
That is correct, sir.
You threw some shit out there, dude. I was like, what the fuck?
Can you believe Pee-wee's Playhouse had Phil Hartman, Lawrence Fishburne, Dweezil Zappa,
right.
George Clinton, Danny Elfman, and Rob Zombie, of all people, involved in the cast?
Fishburne was the fucking cowboy.
That's correct.
He was the cowboy in that. That's right.
That is correct, sir.
That is right. I just watched the TV Land Awards about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, maybe longer. And they talked about that because I guess they gave Pee-wee an award, a Lifetime Achievement Award, which just goes to show everybody loves a comeback. That was cool. I like that. That was kind of
off the wall.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because
I was going to mention Tim Burton, and as soon as I mentioned Tim Burton,
you know what
connected that.
You know
to
what got me when you mentioned Blow.
Oh.
What got me was when you mentioned Blow. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, there's
like a 2-minute part in that.
No, he had a few scenes in it.
He played the bartender, didn't he?
No, he played the drug dealer. It's just business, George.
Who played the bartender?
He takes George's customer. He knocks out George and fucking goes straight through him to the hierarchy.
Oh.
To get the drugs. No, he played a nice role.
Okay.
One of the famous lines in that is he says, "Hey, what's his name in the movie?
I don't know.
Pharrell, I think. Pharrell." And he tells him, "Hey, am I wearing lipstick?"
He plays it straight though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Completely straight.
Yeah, he says, "Am I wearing lipstick?" He goes, "What?" He goes, "Am I wearing lipstick?" He goes, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, I want to know if I look good while I'm getting fucked."
Yeah.
So that was like one of the famous lines in that movie. But that was interesting. I like that concept because you know what? You can give somebody so much information doing that, you know? There's a give and take there, you know? I like that was a pretty cool little skit there.
Cool.
Wow, I should have got more vague with this. Okay. My first appearance on screen was on April 30th, 1938. I was created by Ben Holloway. My voice was done by Mel Blanc from 1938.
Are you a fictional character?
Yes.
Are you an animated character?
Yes.
Bugs Bunny?
Fuck! Fuck! I made that one too easy for you.
I am fucking awesome. I didn't even guess wrong. Mel Blanc did that. Mel Blanc is responsible for so many voices.
Well, look at and I didn't think about it at the time.
Stay that close, dude. You sound so much better. Then you lean back.
I thought you were talking about the
game.
Yeah, the game on the screen. Oh. But no, because I have the first appearance was, like I said, 1938. The name of if I would have said cartoon, you would have known right there, was Porky's Hair Hunt.
Porky, oh yeah.
So that right there gives it away, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
It was Porky Pig was his first.
Yeah, Porky's Hair Hunt.
Was his co-host?
Yeah. And again, if I would have said his nickname, Bugs, his species, rabbit or hare, I should have got more vague. But you can't really get vague with things like that, you know what I mean? And it had like a, and again, I get everything I get off of Wikipedia. And it tells you right there, like some of the sites are good, and then like some of the...
But the facts that go along with that
that's what it says.
Either really obscure,
right?
Like credits that are totally outdated,
right?
People I've never heard of.
And it says that.
Or it's right up front. Like, I like fucking carrots. You know what I mean? I spent most of my life running from somebody with a shotgun. I mean, or Mel Blanc was my voice. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And again, no one I ever hear it, so who knows?
Word.
All of a sudden you're just going to hear, and here's the news.
Right. Now the news with Marin Flores. No, I think it's going all right.
Yeah.
If I'm winning the game, it's going to stay in.
That's the rules, huh?
Well, now
I'm right, you're wrong.
If it's a landslide against me, I'll probably edit it out. All right. I was born to a 16-year-old runaway.
Wow.
My mother could not take proper care of me. I was left with religious family members.
Are you?
But I did not take to this lifestyle.
Are you a teen mom?
My mother served time in prison for car theft, and I was arrested many occasions for the same crime.
For car theft? Really? Wow. Are you an actress? So you have to be a singer then. Wow. What the hell?
I don't know what I said, but you are following along the lines of this is a female I'm talking about. And that would be...
Oh, now you're trying to just trip me up.
No, I just told you I'm a man. Right now.
Well, yeah, now you did. Never mind. Okay.
First time in 55 to Rosalie Willis. Ended in divorce in 57 while I was in prison. I remarried to Leona Stevens in 1959. This also ended in divorce, and I fathered a child from both relationships.
So an actor, you have to be an actor from the 50s then.
You're limiting yourself without asking the question.
I know, that's why I'm trying to think of the questions that
Well, ask.
Give me a second, man. You did movies? You didn't do movies. You did sitcoms? And are you a musician? What the fuck?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a tiny involvement in the music industry.
What?
Very tiny.
Man.
I was influenced by the Beatles.
Really?
I like how I said that.
I was influenced.
If I had said that at any other point in some other way, it would have been a dead giveaway.
I was influenced by the Beatles? You're an asshole. Jimi Hendrix. Oh no, he had more than a bigger, small role than that.
Okay. He's huge.
Yeah, that was. Or would it? Is it Ozzy Osbourne?
If in any game we play,
yeah,
I am not going to pick Ozzy Osbourne.
But that would be just like you to do something so blatant and
no way.
Yeah, you would do something like that.
You are Ozzy Osbourne. It would be like giving you the answer.
Somehow, I think you would be able to pull it off.
No.
I'd have to be really crafty and getting the answers out of you.
And I would have to be really crafty, and I'd have to burn a lot of calories to try to pull off getting away with using Ozzy Osbourne, and I'm far too lazy to do that. So don't ever think that I'm going to give you Ozzy Osbourne as an answer.
Watch next week. Every week I'm gonna say, "Oh, the first answer I'm gonna
Well,
give."
it depends on what game we play.
Yeah.
But if it's a trivia, do not expect Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay.
However, I might expect it from you, though.
No, that'd be too obvious for me.
No, it'd be
just too
easy for you.
Yeah. It's like
I don't really want to put much into this. I'll just go to my go-to.
okay, influenced by the Beatles, so he has to be. He was married twice. Wow. Did you ever produce any music? You produced music. Who's the guy who founded Motown, man? I didn't even give a fucking name. What kind of shit is that, man?
It's wrong.
I'm like, who's like?
All right, let's start.
Okay, go. Let's okay.
Okay, I also have an affiliation with the Beach Boys.
With the Beach Boys? It's oh my god, dude. That's just Charles Manson.
That is correct, sir.
Why did I know that, dude? That's just sick of me to know that.
Well, he's that famous. A lot of people would know.
Yeah, you know what? That's. I like your style, though.
That's
no,
what she said.
You know what got me? What got me when you said that? When you because I actually read Helter Skelter when I was a teenager.
So did I.
And I remember him. They were talking about the Beach Boys, but then it hit me. Wait a minute. He was in the juvenile facility for stealing the cars.
Right.
And his mother had given him away. Remember that? And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. He was. And that's what hit me. You're like, oh, fucking Charles Manson. You're like, well, I had a little affiliation with the music. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, fuck, man.
He made music, didn't he, while he was in jail?
But they did.
He produced those songs.
They did, was it Sexy Sadie? When
Maybe.
they did the song Sexy Sadie? That was, the rumor is that was written after, what was her name? Sadie Watkins? Watkins, one of the Helter Skelter killers or whatever, the ones who was involved in the whole Sharon Tate LaBianchi murders and stuff, you know.
Right.
She was involved with that. That song was based supposedly.
I don't think
allegedly.
So. Probably allegedly.
Yeah.
It's probably part of the story.
Yeah.
But they have no connection to anything that he did.
But yeah, I like that. That was a good one, dude. That was a good one. Because I was like in a totally different direction, dude. Totally, I had no clue. And then I'm like, who's the guy who did Motown Records? I'm like, oh shit, he just wants to stump me. So did I win that one?
You got 2 of them so far.
Oh no, I did got 2, huh? I did, huh? Okay. So wait a minute, did I give you 2 or 1? I just gave you 1.
Gave me 2.
So yeah, I liked it. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
And that will conclude this week's edition of Say My Name. Say my name.
Say my name, bitch. That's funny.
All right, so I guess we could wrap it up. You want to do some news, and then we will bring it home, baby.
Okay, here we go. This comes from Yahoo News. A British man who joked on Twitter that he would blow up an airport after it closed because it was snowed in has had his conviction for sending a menacing message overturned in a landmark ruling for users of the social media websites. Paul Chambers, 28, had sent the message in what he called a momentary lapse of judgment at not being able to catch a flight from Doncaster Robin Hood Airport. He had later been arrested and sentenced, but in the higher court on Friday upheld his appeal against the conviction. Speaking outside the court afterwards, Chambers' lawyer John Cooper, who has argued that it was wrong to associate the tweet with terrorism, said that it was a milestone ruling. It's a very big decision, both nationally and internationally, for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who use Facebook and Twitter, he told the BBC. It means that you intend to make a joke, and that it means that if you make a joke, and if what you do is a joke, however a bad joke that it is, you cannot be prosecuted, he added. The case revolved around a tweet sent by Chambers in January of 2010, which read, "Crap, Robin Hood Airport is closed. You've got a week to get your shit together. Otherwise, I'm blowing the airport sky high." That's the tweet he sent. Chambers said that he sent this tweet to 600 followers in a momentary lapse of frustration and never imagined that it would be taken seriously. It was surreal. My world became something else, he said when he asked how he felt when he was arrested. On Friday's ruling, he added, it's an important decision as far as social networks are concerned and as far as Twitter is concerned.
I think he's an asshole.
He's kind of fucking idiotic to say some shit like that, especially with everything that's going on, you know?
But that's funny, dude. That's it. That's 600 followers, and that shit breaks the news.
Yeah. And,
how do we get 600 followers?
Tell your friends.
We're on Twitter.
We are on Twitter. Huh?
WestRod76. How you talk to the show.
All right, here we go.
Twitter.
1 week after Colorado's movie theater shooting, Maryland cops arrested a heavy armed man who told his employer he was a joker who was going to blow everybody up. The suspect identifies as Neil Edwin Prescott in a court document obtained by ABC News was being dismissed from after being dismissed from his job. He made threatening statements to his supervisor at least twice on Monday, police said. Prescott had an arsenal of about 25 firearms in his residence, including a semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, handguns, according to police affidavit. Police said that he also had a high-powered scopes and magazines and 1,000 rounds of ammunition. What the fuck do you need with 1,000 rounds of ammunition if you're not going to terrorize somebody?
That's why you need it.
He was quoted as telling his employer, I am a joker and blow everybody up, police said. It is clear from the comments that Prescott made refers to a recent mass murder which occurred in Colorado. Prescott also stated that he would like to see the supervisor's brains splattered all over the sidewalk, the document said. When police arrived at Prescott's house on Thursday to speak to him, he was wearing a t-shirt with the writing, guns don't kill people, I do. He was taken into custody based on an emergency petition for medical treatment, police said. Authorities said Prescott's demeanor was very quiet when he was taken into custody and that he has been very cooperative.
After he got his medication.
Yeah, after he got his medication. Okay, here we go. Long before he became an American hero, Michael Phelps experienced life from a far more humbling and painful perspective. He was an object of scorn and tormented at the hands of bullies. Heading into middle school, Baltimore, young Michael was a hyperactive kid with ADHD and protruding ears. He was an easy target for bullies at a vulnerable age. His mom, Debbie, says Michael wore baseball caps all the time, in part tried to conceal his big ears. It didn't work. Other kids continually swatted his ears and made fun of him. It was very frustrating at the time, Phelps told Yahoo Sports last month. I always told him to be the stronger person and walk away, recalled Debbie Phelps, a middle school administrator. Oh, she was an administrator. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. He got to the point where he hauled off and decked somebody and got suspended from school. I told him, we don't do that, Michael. He said, but they were teasing me. He could only take so much for so long. After his suspensions, Phelps learned to ignore the taunts of others. But while he didn't retaliate, he also didn't forget those around him who were being mean to him. It's kind of crazy, he said, when I go up around where I used to live in Baltimore, you still see the same people who are picking on me. They're still around, bussing tables or whatever, probably still being the same way.
He had to get in that last little...
Yeah, that was his
success is the best revenge.
Right.
Look at you douchebags.
Live your life. Live a positive life.
Stay in the neighborhood. I'm moving on. All right. Now I'm just going to sit here and smoke pot with my homies and talk about
I think he learned a valuable lesson, though, coming out of that. Don't get caught smoking.
You really think he's done?
Don't get caught smoking pot.
He's still smoking.
Well, yeah, but he's not getting caught smoking it, is he?
Yeah.
And he's not doing it during his training. Yeah. You know, there's an off season for every sport.
Not getting high.
Anyway, that concludes this week's news, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Well, that'll do it for this week's show. I'd like to thank Romeo.
I like this little fun fact too about the barbers serving alcohol. That's funny.
That is funny.
You know we're going to Wikipedia that shit, right?
I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that like to sit down in the fucking barbershop, get their hair cut, and be able to put back a few.
Yeah.
I think everybody would like to do that.
For sure.
I've gotten a pedicure with my cousins, and we were drinking mixed drinks. They didn't know we had alcohol, though, but yeah, we can get back. Yeah, okay, I'm comfortable enough to get a pedicure.
You don't know that.
Doesn't mean that I like to take it up the ass. Does it? Anyways. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Sink or Swim. Again, let me thank Marin Flores and his friend Romeo. We'll bring it home by saying, thanks for tuning in to Sink or Swim. What's your dream?